Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. Poland has reopened 2 crossings with Belarus on Monday, even as it continues to strengthen its border security against illegal migration. The move comes amid ongoing disruptions to trade, including thousands of trucks stranded in Belarus and concerns over Belarusian tactics affecting the region. Now, to discuss the implications for border management and trade and security, we're now joined by Aliaksandr Papko, a journalist, researcher, Belsat TV. Good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Alexander, let's look at these openings of these 2 crossings. Some are going to be very much key for trade, some for people. I mean, let's look at this whole border situation. I mean, this was essentially sealed, wasn't it? So why open this now in your mind?
This is a big question. So there are several border crossing previously, and almost all of them, except one for trucks and one for buses and personal vehicles, were opened since 2000, remained open since 2023, and why Poland closed 2 existing border crossing points. One was closed in November 2021 after Alexander Lukashenko pushed waves of migrants brought to the country. He pushed them towards the European Union, and there were clashes at the border. So in November 2021, one of the border crossing points was closed. Another one was closed when Alexander Lukashenko regime cracked down on journalists and especially sentenced a prominent journalist from Polish minority, Andrzej Papko, for 8 years of prison. So from 4 major crossing points for road transport, only one, if I'm not mistaken, was operational. But still, for instance, railway crossing points are open, and they're open because they're very important for instance, Chinese goods imported to the European Union. About 98% of Chinese railway transport to Europe goes through these border crossing points. So let's come back to this situation on Belarusian border. The Polish government says that those 2 border points are opened first because the local communities, local business are suffering, and they need those trade, those contacts between people to be restored. Okay, but also the government said that the danger of illegal migration has significantly decreased because of the border infrastructure built since 2021. And this is also true. So if we look
on that note, Alexander, I'm going to just interrupt you for a second because I do also want to hear, because you said what the Polish government has said. Let's hear what Prime Minister Donald Tusk said exactly about this and the recent border openings. Let's roll that now for you and our audience.
The risk of illegal crossings at the border, thanks to the sealed dam we have created, has been reduced to an absolute minimum. We have a nearly 100% apprehension rate of those who want to illegally cross the Polish border, and that makes this border safe. This is the safest, best-guarded border in Europe today. I'm convinced of this. We've put a lot of effort and money into it. The daily service of soldiers, border guards and police, thanks to all of this, this border has become safe. And this is why I decided, in consultation with local authorities and entrepreneurs from Podlasia, to open these border crossings. We will monitor whether or not this will have an impact on security.
All right, so the safest border in Europe, a lot of it has been invested, touting what the Polish government has done. At the same time, I can't help but just ask you, Alexander, I mean, one of the hopes that we've seen over the last few months is that gradually there's been more contact with the Minsk regime, with Alexander Lukashenko's government, also releasing more high-profile prisoners, especially journalists. One person still remains in custody for a long time. That's Mr. Poczobut. This is someone that Poland wants released. Do you think this is going to be that leverage? Is this going to now result in his release?
Well, first of all, there is about 20 journalists still imprisoned in Belarus, and Andrzej Papko is only one of them, and there are more than 1,200 political prisoners. But the what is important in this situation that border crossing point was closed in February 2023 as a result of sentence given by the regime to Andrzej Papko, and we may expect that in coming month, maybe, so it's only just a hope, which was not really confirmed by the Polish authorities. So, but there is a hope that Andrzej Papko will be released, because previously we experienced the release of almost 20 Belarusian journalists as a result of US Minsk negotiations. And we know that Andrzej Papko is also prepared for such a release, because he was transferred from the prison in the region to Minsk. So there are negotiations around them, and we may hope that he will be released as well. And what's going on the border? We know that the number of the attempts of illegal border crossing has significantly decreased in last month. So we know that, for instance, last year there were about 80 up to 100 attempts of illegal border crossing daily, and now there are about 10-20. So maybe the negotiations, including China, Polish government, and the US government, have brought some results. Let's be hopeful.
All right. So you mentioned also that commercial element to all this. I do want to ask you as well, I mean, Lithuania also bordering Belarus. I mean, they have criticized this as having Warsaw going by itself, undermining combined efforts here. What do we make of that? Because, I mean, the Lithuanians have also been very much vigilant. We've had those recent balloons that have come over, those contraband balloons that result in the closure of Vilnius airport. So why this now, and why wasn't this done in coordination with Vilnius in your mind?
This is a very difficult question. So this situation really shows that Warsaw and Vilnius are negotiating separately, and also Aleksandr Lukashenko regime are treating them separately. A large part, so the illegal smuggling of cigarettes, the European Union was a major source, quite important source of revenues for Aleksandr Lukashenko regime in last decades. And why this smuggling, why these balloons are appearing now, why these drones, so there are also drones with smuggled cigarettes, why they are appearing now? Because both Lithuania and Poland increased the measures of control of the trucks, of the trains crossing the border with Poland and Lithuania, and they they're scanning by X-rays and other measures those trucks, and the smugglers cannot move large quantities of tobacco products to Europe anymore. So they're using more, I would say, pointed measures like those drones and balloons now. And what is in my mind in this situation? Why there is no balloons on the Polish border, but there are balloons at the Lithuanian borders? Maybe the situation on Polish border is a part, as I said, of larger negotiations involving, for instance, China. And also Poland, as I said, Poland is a major crossing border for Chinese products to the European Union, to the whole European Union. Lithuania is not in such situation. So since 2022, the major railway traffic between
But I do want to jump in quickly,
Belarus.
Alexander, because we talk about Chinese freight, and that's one element, but there's also a lot of logistics here in terms of truckers, Belarusian truckers, Lithuanian trucks. That's an important line. I don't if I think of the percentage, but it's quite a significant part of logistics for Lithuania as well. So how much was this a pressure point in negotiations here, and is a reason behind it? Just briefly, unfortunately, we don't have much time.
Yeah, there are several hundreds of Lithuanian trucks in Belarus, held like hostages, property taken by, which can be taken by the Belarusian regime, and the Alexander Lukashenko is trying to exert pressure on Lithuania to make the border open. Otherwise, he threatens to confiscate those trucks, and Lithuania threatens, for instance, to interrupt the traffic through Lithuania from Russia to Russian exclave in Kaliningrad. So Lithuanians have also their tool of pressure on Minsk, involving this time Russia. So let's see.
All right, indeed. So as the Prime Minister Poland has said, it's the safest border, but it's certainly not the most simple in terms of understanding how it's going to be. Look, thanks so much for the update there, Aleksandr Papko from Belsat TV. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much. Bye.
And thank you for watching World Talks, but there's more coming up right here on TVP World, so don't go away. Goodbye.